It all started on an ordinary Saturday afternoon when I was rummaging through the attic, searching for old family albums. Dust motes floated in the slanting sunlight, and the air smelled like forgotten memories. That's when I found it, a sealed envelope tucked inside a brittle, leather-bound journal. My name wasn't on it, but something about its careful hiding place made my heart race. The handwriting was unfamiliar, elegant yet hurried, and the paper felt fragile beneath my fingers. I hesitated, knowing that some things are best left undiscovered, but curiosity gnawed at me, relentless. I broke the seal and unfolded the letter, my eyes scanning the words that would unravel everything I thought I knew about my family. The letter spoke of a secret affair, a child born in silence, and a betrayal that had been buried for decades. My mind reeled. Who had hidden this truth, and why? The weight of the revelation pressed down on me like a physical force, making the attic feel smaller, colder. I tucked the letter into my jacket and fled downstairs, desperate for air, for clarity. As I sat at the kitchen table, the letter burning a hole in my pocket, I wrestled with my next move. Should I tell my parents, my siblings, or keep this secret locked away, preserving the fragile peace that had always defined us? The conflict tore at my soul, between loyalty to my family and the desperate need for truth. The next days were a blur of whispered conversations and stolen glances. I watched my mother carefully, searching for signs of guilt or sadness, but her smile was as warm and practiced as ever. My father's eyes, however, held a shadow I hadn't noticed before, a flicker of something unspoken and heavy. One evening, unable to bear the silence, I confronted my mother. Her hands trembled as she reached out to me, her voice barely above a whisper. She revealed pieces of the past I had never imagined, her youthful dreams, the sacrifices she made, and the secret she thought she had buried forever. The walls between us seemed to crumble, but the pain in her eyes was raw and unyielding. Yet even as she opened up, I sensed there was more, layers of truth hidden beneath her words, guarded fiercely like a fragile treasure. My father, when I finally spoke to him, was quieter still. His silence was a fortress, and every question I asked seemed to chip away at his carefully constructed defenses. Caught in the crossfire of their pain and my own confusion, I felt like an intruder in a story that wasn't mine to tell. But the letter continued to haunt me, a relentless reminder that some secrets refuse to stay buried. I began to question everything, my identity, my family's history, and the very foundation of the life I thought I understood. The siblings I once shared childhood memories with now seemed like strangers, each carrying their own version of what had been left unsaid. I wondered if they suspected anything or if the silence was a shared pact of protection. The distance between us grew, filled with invisible walls built from years of unspoken truths. One night, unable to hold the secret any longer, I reached out to the only person outside my family who might understand, my closest friend. As I read the letter aloud over the phone, my voice cracked with a mix of fear and relief. She listened without judgment, reminding me that the truth, no matter how painful, was a step towards healing. Bolstered by her support, I decided to delve deeper. I revisited the attic, determined to uncover more clues. Among the dust and forgotten relics, I found faded photographs that didn't quite fit, documents with names I didn't recognize, and a diary filled with cryptic entries. Each discovery was a thread pulling me further into a tangled web of family secrets. As I pieced together the puzzle, the faces in the photographs seemed to come alive, whispering stories of love, betrayal, and regret. The diary's pages revealed a voice I hadn't known, a woman torn between loyalty and desire, caught in circumstances that forced impossible choices. The past was no longer distant, it was breathing alongside me. But with every revelation came a growing fear. What if exposing the truth would destroy the family I loved? Would they see me as a traitor, or would they thank me for finally lifting the veil? The uncertainty gnawed at me, making sleep elusive and days heavy with tension. In the midst of this turmoil, an unexpected ally emerged, my younger sibling. Quiet and observant, they confided in me their own suspicions and fears. Together, we formed a fragile alliance, united by the desire to understand and protect our family from the damage that silence had wrought. Our late-night talks became lifelines, moments where honesty was possible without judgment. We shared fragments of what we knew and hoped to find a way to navigate the storm ahead. The bond between us deepened, forged in the crucible of shared pain and the search for truth. Yet the more we uncovered, the more complicated everything became. The secrets weren't just about the past, they tangled with present relationships, revealing fractures we hadn't seen before. Loyalties were tested, alliances shifted, and the line between right and wrong blurred into shades of gray. One afternoon, I overheard a heated argument between my parents, words sharp and raw, accusations and regrets spilling out like a dam breaking. It was the first time I realized that the past wasn't just a story to be told. It was a wound still bleeding, shaping who we were in ways I hadn't understood. Driven by a mix of desperation and hope, I sought out an elderly relative, someone who had been distant but might hold pieces of the truth. Their memories were fragmented, tinged with nostalgia and pain, but they painted a fuller picture of the family's tangled history. It was a mosaic of love and loss, secrets kept in the name of survival. With every new piece of information, I felt both closer to and farther from the family I thought I knew. The lines between victim and perpetrator blurred, revealing flawed human stories behind every secret and every lie. It was a humbling, heartbreaking realization that no one was perfect, and everyone carried their own burdens. As the truth seeped into our daily lives, family gatherings became charged with unspoken tension. Smiles felt brittle, conversations skimmed the surface, and beneath it all lay a fragile hope that someday, somehow, we could heal. But the path to that healing was uncertain and fraught with risk. I found myself standing at a crossroads, torn between the desire to protect my family's image and the need to confront the past honestly. Each option carried consequences I wasn't sure we were ready to face. The weight of the secret had become my burden, and carrying it felt unbearably lonely. In moments of solitude, I wrestled with guilt and confusion, wondering if I was betraying those I loved or simply demanding the honesty we all deserved. The lines between loyalty and truth had never felt so blurred, and I realized that sometimes the hardest battles are fought within our own hearts. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, I found myself back in the attic, the letter in my hands once again. The quiet around me was thick with possibility and fear. I knew that whatever I chose next would change everything, but the fear of silence felt heavier than the fear of revelation. The story is far from over. Every day brings new challenges and decisions, and the question remains, how do you balance the bonds of family with the power of truth? I'm still caught in that delicate dance, trying to find a way forward without losing myself or those I love. The secret is out, but the journey has just begun. And so here I am sharing this with you, not because I have all the answers, but because sometimes the only way to make sense of the chaos is to speak it aloud and know you're not alone. This story isn't just mine, it's ours, tangled in the messy, beautiful complexities of family, love, and the pursuit of truth. Every day reveals something new, and the shadows of the past continue to ripple through our lives. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I do know one thing: secrets have a way of demanding to be told, and when they do, nothing is ever quite the same again. Thank you for listening, for holding space for this story that is still unfolding. If you've ever been caught between loyalty and truth, you know it's a place that tests everything you believe about yourself and the people you love. And sometimes, that is where growth begins. For now, I keep the letter close, a reminder of the fragile line I walk every day. The past whispers its secrets, and I listen, hoping to find a way to honor both the love and the truth that define my family's story.